Hello there. Now, for over the years, Europe have seen a lot of influx of Africans due to economic instability. And when I started this channel, one of the promises I made is I'm going to talk about what it is like life living here in Europe. Today on my channel, I have with me a young man who comes from Africa, Ghana to be precise, and he's been living in Europe for long. And normally when you come to Europe and you are from West Africa, people have the notion that because there are nothing like economical wars and stuff like that, it is a very difficult thing for you to seek asylum and for you to go through it and for things to be okay with you. But this gentleman that I'm sitting here with, he has gone through it, and I think everything went well for him. So today on Lapote YouTube channel, I want him to share his story. So if there's anyone who is out there and has been here and been stranded and want to seek asylum or something like that, then he's also thinking of the worst. Maybe if he hears the stories of the guy that I'm here with, he's going to decide for himself whether he wants to go and seek the asylum or not. So today, like I said, I'm here with Isaac. Isaac, nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My brother.
Yeah, okay. So, like I said, living in Europe, it's not easy. Germany to be precise, you know, sure. And for most of the times, we Africans, we believe in hearsay. They say we don't like to look for information for ourselves, you know. Right. And although everyone will be like, oh, so when you can say, hey, see, we'll call CBCO. Nobody wants to find out, you know. So it has always been like that in the system. And so because of that, I decided to have you on this program so that we're going to have a conversation and you're going to walk us through what it is like for you when you came to Europe and before you decide to go seek asylum. Because for most people who come from West Africa, they go like, that's the last resort. That's the last thing you should do when nothing else is working.
Sure.
So first of all, like I said, tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's get to know you, then we start from there.
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I use this privilege to say hello to your numerous fans out there, and to advise everybody out there to support Lapote TV. You are really doing a great job.
Thank you.
So we say also Ayiko to you, and thank you for what you are doing for Ghanaians, Africans, and everybody. Well, about myself, I'm sitting here. You can see I come originally from Ghana. My name is Isaac. I was born on Wednesday. In fact, my names are so many that, so if I think Isaac is enough.
Okay, we'll stick with the Isaac. The Isaac will do.
I come originally from my parents from somewhere from the east. My mother comes from Kwewu and my father is Ekuapem from Eburi. But I grew up most of my life in Accra, Bema Camp. So all the Bema Camp guys there, I salute you guys.
So you're a Barrack boy?
I'm a Barrack boy, not necessarily a bad boy. I, like you say, I live in Germany here. I work as a pediatric and geriatric nurse, and then I'm also doing my bachelor in the University Apollon in Bremen. And I'm doing a lot of things. I'm building my own business as well, international job finder. It's a big project that I training and nurses and giving them languages, training so that they can come and work in Europe or other part of the world.
Well, let's hold on to that. We're going to get back to that later. But then I want to find out why did you decide to come to Europe in the first place, and what was the experience like for you when you came?
I think if I remember very well, it was somewhere in 2012 maybe, and I just decided it was enough in Ghana.
Enough is enough.
I wanted to start a new page, a new chapter, a new experience altogether, and so I think I first landed somewhere in Sweden. I've forgotten the city. Stockholm, that's the capital. I spent some months there, and then I moved to Germany, but before then I was also in the UK and in some European countries to save time. My first experience, I think it's just like any other person's first experience, a new world, a new language, new people, new culture. But I found it interesting. right from the onset, and so I just work with time and patience and a lot of hard work, and yeah.
Okay. Hold on to that thought. What were you doing in Ghana before you decided to move to Europe?
In Germany, yeah. I had some of my education, most of my education, or I'm mixing the English with German, so
it's
please.
Okay, yeah. The English is called English.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in Ghana, I attended my basic school in Bemakam, 5 p.m. Then I had my secondary school at Adontin.
Oh, okay.
Then from there, I did my diploma at IPMC in system engineering.
Oh, okay.
Then I started also my computer science program at Wisconsin. I didn't finish, and then I just left. But I was also into entertainment. I was the founder of Big Dreams Entertainment. We were doing tertiary and my IT job, of course. Yeah.
You know, it's funny, I'm asking you this and you're mentioning all this thing, what you did. You went to secondary school, you went to IPS, which is now called UPS.
No, IPMC.
IPMC rather. Oh, okay, okay. That's an IT school. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's funny, one would say, I mean, after you did all these things, I mean, that is something that is enough for you at least get a reputable job in Ghana. But all the same, you left all this and you decided to come to the shores of Europe. So one, I want to find out, why do you decide to leave this all behind?
Well, to leave Ghana, it's the reasons. I think it varies from persons to persons. For me, financially, well, I can't say I was bad. I can't say I was having the best time of my life. But I think it was good. But I was quite young, and in the society where we lived, I think civilization was not on its top form. And so when you're a young boy and you're making it in life, mostly you're going to be stigmatized that it's either the society thinks you are into drugs or into some kind of spiritual money or whatever. So I quite remember a very interesting event that happened. I like to help people. I mean, I saw somebody trying to hustle himself into something, and I helped with some money. I don't remember the amount. But then there was an old lady or a mature woman standing somewhere and say, this is a ritualist money, you have to give it back to the person. But the woman, I never knew the woman, we never spoke. And so I found it quite impressive that she was able to make it. And I had a lot of other young guys who were really doing it in Ghana, and they were going through all those stigmatizations. So I said, okay, let me go somewhere, go and get old, and come back with maybe enough money, and then the society will accept you. Accept it.
So in other words, you left Ghana and you felt like you're gonna have a good life here. You don't like the whole stigmatization that is given to young guys.
Something similar. But on the other hand, I also thought that the resources to succeed in life, or let's say opportunities, are huge in Europe or overseas than in Ghana. So when I look at the financial situation there and how the economy was going, I could look into the future and see that things were going to get tough and tougher. So it was also one of the things I considered than to leave, so that I could grab it, the whole thing.
All right. So in other words, life wasn't that bad for you in Ghana. You just needed or wanted something better. That is why you
correct.
came to Europe.
Yeah, I think it's the right way.
So tell me, what's your first experience? What was the first thing you noticed when you came to Germany?
Well, it's a very interesting question. When I go to Germany, my friend, a brother from another mother who I was expecting to pick me, for what reason couldn't show up, and he was not reachable. Later he said he was at work and could not use his phone. But I also saw a lot of Ghanaians there. I could hear Ghanaian language, Twi, and so I was quite relaxed, and so there was no reason to panic. So I thought, after all, if my friend is not showing up, there are Ghanaians, I could get help temporarily, like we used to do back at home. So I started approaching people, speaking Twi and to them, and to my surprise, everybody gave one excuse or the other, and And so I realized the Ghanaians who were living here were quite a bit different from the Ghanaians at home when it comes to human relationships. I think if I'm in Ghana, when I visit a city or a town and I meet Ghanaians or not having the precise address in their hand, and I come to a person's store and say, hey, give me a place to sit, or a person's home and say, give me a place to sit, and let me wait for somebody. Or I'm struggling with to locate somebody, I would definitely get help. I don't know today, but before I left Ghana, you could get help and even get food to eat and all sort of. But the people, and interestingly, I saw a different African group. I didn't go to them; they came to me because they saw I was stranded from my body language, and they asked me, "Where are you from?" I said Ghana. I said, "Oh, we are from Liberia." You look a bit stranded. I gave them my story, and they said, "Oh, we have a flight to catch to America, but we will help you buy a phone because my phone was off." And then they bought a SIM card. That was when with this Leica SIM card. I didn't have that SIM card, so they bought it for me with credit and say they gave me their number also, that if I don't see my brother, I should try and call them. They will let someone come and pick me. So it was a Liberian. I was really surprised. Yeah, so if you ask of my experience.
All right, guys. So you guys we are hearing it from Isaac. He's a Ghanaian that left the shores of Ghana and came to Europe, Germany to precise, with their hope and dreams that he's going to have a better life. And he's narrating his story, what it is like here when you meet your fellow Ghanaians. This is Labote YouTube channel. And if you like the show that we are bringing to yours, like we always say, leave a comment, subscribe. And that way we know that you like it and we'll bring you more. So basically, we are doing this video because the picture that people have when they are home is different from what happens here. You know, most of the times people come here with a lot of expectations just for them to come here, and their expectations is falls short. You know, like he's saying, back at home in Ghana, it's easier for you to reach out to a friend for someone to give you help. But the whole thing is different here when you are in Germany. You see a fellow person who is black like you, an African like you, and you need help. It's more like survival of the fittest. Everybody wants to be successful, so it's hard most of the times for you to find your own brother to give you help. So Isaac is here and he's sharing his story, so we are still with him. So, yeah, and I think this is not the first time I'm hearing this. Most people say that sometimes you have a friend here in Europe, you have a conversation with him, you guys talk, vibe like everything is good. If you should have the opportunity or the chance to say that you are coming to Europe to visit, when you call him at the airport, he's not going to show up. You know, probably maybe because he's in a place that does not feel comfortable or does not look good. But I keep painting a good picture for you. So now that you are here, he doesn't want you to know where he lives and how situation are and how things are for him. So yeah, we are still on Labote YouTube channel. I'm talking to Isaac. So yeah, so that's your experience. So the next thing I want to find out. So I know you came and you seek asylum, and now you're working and you say you have everything going right for you. And for most of the times, people from West Africa, they say that because there is no war or fights going on in most West African countries, so when you seek an asylum, you are not being granted. And because of that, most Ghanaians come here and they don't even want to seek the asylum. Now, Isaac has gone through the process and it's successful for him. So I want you to tell you, when do you decide to go and seek the asylum finally? What pushed you finally to go and seek the asylum?
Yeah, thank you. I have to correct something here.
Okay.
That's different from going to seek asylum and asylum coming to seek you. Okay. So in your case, what was it? The asylum came to seek you. Yes, in my case, the asylum came to seek me.
Okay.
I didn't go to seek the asylum.
Oh, okay.
So it's two different things. I think I remember. I'm not good at keeping dates, but I think I remember it was somewhere in 13 or 14, winter. It was winter, I remember.
Oh, okay.
When we got to Hamburg, or after all the hustle and tussle and all those things, man decided to start something on his own. So I was helping a lot of Ghanaian homes with computer and programming and all those things. So when someone has a problem with his or her computer, I come and fix it for some few euros, you know. So I remember one, it was a week process when a lady living somewhere in Hamburg called. I came to fix her computer. Every day it went on 2-3 times. This is happening, I'll go. So the last call I got, I was with a friend. I asked him to accompany me there. So when we got to the gate, you know how these Europe buildings look like, a very tall story building with just one entrance. So we were waiting, we ringed her bell 2-3 times. She was not responding. We called her phone. She was not responding to open the door. So we decided maybe she's in the bathroom, so we should wait for some minutes and then ring the bell again or call the phone again. So we were just there waiting, and then the police came.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking someone from the neighborhood or someone in the building somewhere
it's obvious.
Called the police that there were some criminals, or you know.
I guess maybe you guys were standing behind the door for long, so.
Of course,
yeah.
maybe.
That could be it.
And so the police came and asked us why we are here. We said we are looking for this lady, but she's not answering. And then she asks of the usual police conversation.
Yeah,
you need to show your passport or your Ausweis or your ID card to identify yourself. You don't just mention your name or your address and go scot-free.
They need to verify that you are.
Yeah, they have to see evidence. Yeah, correct. So when it came to that, that was where the whole drama started, and at the end we were just backed into a police car. I remember there were 2 cars. And but interestingly, the moment the police came, took us inside, and they wanted to carry us to where they wanted to carry us, the lady showed up, who we were waiting for. But anyway, so this is how it happened. They took us there.
When the lady showed up, she didn't say anything like she know you guys or she know you're coming.
Of course. Oh, no. She did. She said, these are my brothers. They were coming to me. In fact, she really had also a hustle and tussle with the police people. But I told this lady, I remember my words to her. I told her, there are some blessings in disguise. So she should just relax. Whatever it's going to come out, whether they want to take us to Ghana or imprison us, we are not criminals. We've not done anything wrong. We will accept our fate. So I remember I gave my key to her because I didn't want them to find key on me to know where I'm hiding.
You are living, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. And so they took us somewhere, you know, you were in a car. We didn't know town too well also, but then so they took us somewhere, they took our fingerprints, and then, you know, they did a lot of checks because they have, I remember it was a room with a very big board where different pictures with different Africans, Arabic people, and so they did all the checks to cross-check if we are not wanted or one of these people they were looking for. And then after they found nothing, they just give us some papers that we should go and, in fact, they asked us 2 questions, whether we want them to deport us or we want to seek asylum, which is what we call a drew, yeah. Correct. So we chose that option, and then they gave us papers to go to direct us to one office here and there. Yeah, so I think we came home the same day, a bit in the evening, and then everybody went his way. So it was deciding
whether to.
Now asylum has come to seek us.
So that's what you mean by you didn't go seeking asylum.
No, so
asylum
it was not an idea that going to seek asylum, but it came to
that.
It was
push came to shove.
Yeah. So this is how this and this is how I got into the whole asylum thing. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So so now with that said, like I said, most people fear that even if whether they go seeking asylum or asylum comes seeking them, some people get into the system and they decide to run away because they feel like another day it's going to lead them back home and they don't want to be deported. So now, as a Ghanaian, so I want to find out your story about how asylum came to seek you. So we're listening. So tell us.
Well, like I said, so after we got those papers and everything, we came home and we decided what we were going to do. So, but we consulted the people who were here longer for the advice and their directions, but almost everybody said, don't go. If you go, they're going to take you home. They're going to deport you, and it's going to be the end of everything. We shouldn't go. No chance. Yeah. But as the hustling with our document was getting tougher, it was necessary for us to just go and see what is there.
What is there?
Yeah, so we just entered. Yeah.
But just let's go back a little bit. Before you decide to go and seek the asylum, did you had an experience working in Germany? Did you do any job before you decided to come?
Of course.
So what are some of the jobs you did and like?
Well, the question should be, what are some of the jobs I didn't do? Because I think I did everything. I clean a restaurant, I got somewhere to cook, to learn how to cook European dishes, and I think I cleaned penny market or supermarkets. I don't remember how many. I cleaned bakeries, and yeah, I think these were the jobs that I remember.
I remember one time ago you told me something about you working in is it mortuary or something like that?
Well, no, in a hospital. Not necessarily mortuary, but it was just pushing. But that was, I think that was after the asylum. Not a mortuary, but you just transport sick people, and sometimes there are also dead people too. You transport sick people to wards. And then you pick the beds, you go and clean them, bring it, and when you have to empty a room and there's a dead person there, you have to also push the people to the autopsy room. Yeah, so it's not necessarily mortuary, it's just like transporting patients and everything, including dead people.
Now, for someone who stayed in Ghana, to be precise, and you went to school up to tertiary level, coming to Germany and doing all this menial job, how did you feel like? If you knew this was what the situation is, it's like, would you have come?
Well, of course, life in Ghana didn't just get better from the start. I'm not from a rich family, I'm not from a wealthy home, and so the life that I was living in Germany here was just a better version of my beginning. Growing up in Ghana. So
just that you were doing menial job, you were doing jobs that you wouldn't do.
The difference was that I was getting more money than in Ghana.
Okay.
So I think for the nature of the job and how tedious it was here, I think I have done more difficult things in Ghana before coming here.
Really?
At the young stage of my life.
Okay. So for you, the jobs that you were doing were not problem because
no, not at all. I remember after secondary school, I worked with Eurofoods in Ghana, where we were doing biscuits in a factory, and it was really hectic. I remember we had to market a Chinese product after secondary school, right after secondary school, which we had to walk, it's, and when I was in secondary school in Ghana, when I go on vacation, I don't go home to enjoy like other fellow students, but I go to a village somewhere where my uncle, my father's brother, had a pineapple farm, and I go to work in the pineapple farm. So to weed and to do all, so for me,
I guess all those things wasn't anything new to you.
No. It was just
all right. We'll still come to the asylum seeking process or the asylum seeking, whether you seek the asylum. But one thing else I want to find out, when you got here, how were you able to find accommodation in those styles? Because I know, from what I know, when you come to Germany, even if you have millions of dollars and you are not working and you don't have pay slip and stuff, nobody's going to rent out their building to you. I want us to work out, what is it like your accommodation issue? What is it like for you getting an apartment?
Very interesting question. I think when I got here, I got lucky at the first place. But what was funny about it, I had a friend in Ghana who I knew she had relatives here in Germany. So after not being able to contact the friend who was supposed to welcome me, I contacted this lady, and then she gave me her sister, and I don't want to mention it, but she was really a great woman. I think for her I can mention her name. Her name is Mama Dora. She lives somewhere. around Atataishvik. She still lives there. I still go there up to now.
Oh, Madura, thanks to you.
Yeah, thank you. Wherever she is, so she's my mother, and she continues to be my mother.
I still have a good relationship.
So she was married to a German. So, but funny enough, when I got inside, they gave me what I was expecting: the home and everything. You know, going to live in a white man's house. The expectations was huge.
So high.
Then I went in and I saw reality. It wasn't bad. The situation wasn't bad. It was really good. But after some days, I said, so when are you showing me my own place to go and rent? Because I had some cash
money with you,
there. Yeah. And she said, no, you can't rent the place. I said, how? I can pay how much? Because I was thinking it has to do with money. And she said, no. When you are here in Europe or Germany or maybe any part of the advanced world, you need papers, documents, staying permit, and all those things. And then the question went further. So how do I get those things? Yeah. So she gave me a place to stay. I think for a very long time. I wasn't paying bills until I got something to do, and a very fantastic family, and I will be forever grateful to this family.
I guess in your situation, you are lucky. I've heard instances where people say things like when they come and they rent apartment with an African who owns an apartment already, and they're going to tell you how many times you have to take a shower, how many times you should cook, and when to do this and when to do that. But it looks like you didn't experience any of that.
Well, I think I did. Because after the lady I told you, my mother I came to meet here, Mama Dora helped me. It got to a time that I had to move on because she didn't want me to go, the family didn't want me to go, but I thought at some point it was enough to give them space and give them their privacy or their family life back to them. So I went somewhere in Honarimban. And that was my first apartment that I rented. And when I went to speak to the lady before I got the apartment, I met her in church. So I was thinking it was going to be the same like where I was living. But I got inside. And then the law started following, you do this. In fact, at some point in time, I had to walk in a slow motion form because my walking was noisy. Cooking, water bathing, all this, it was not really a good experience.
If you said water bathing, so, we want to know, give us details.
Yeah, you are not allowed to use a shower, to open the shower on you because they said the bill is going to be too much. So
but you are paying rent to the person.
Yeah, but this is the owner of the place, and she decided what. So it became a choice for me to move or not to move. So I think I spent about 4 months there. And then I had to call my mother back, Mama Dora back, and said, hey, this is what I'm facing there. She said, we didn't throw you out. You decided to go, so come back. And then I ran back. So I got another apartment. The owner of the apartment says, hey, you don't cook goat meat in the house.
Ghanaians say you can't cook goat meat in the house.
And every day the laws were coming. You are not allowed to receive visitors. If you want to have visitors, you should meet outside, and a whole lot of crap. But those things are not really good.
All right, one more thing. So walk us through, what was your relationship like with other Africans here? When you come to Germany, there are Africans who are kind of born here versus the ones who also came from home to live here to also hustle and survive. What was your experience with them?
By then, I remember I was invited to church. And then I had to play drums also, so I quickly became an integral part of the church or a part of the whole program. And so, but I also realized when you get to the church, they introduce you, a new arrival. At that moment, I thought this introduction was to help me connect myself better. But today, when I sit back, I think this introduction was done to isolate me.
Isolate you.
Or to isolate the new arrivals, because then it comes into the picture, he has no document.
He's different from them.
Maybe. And then he might be looking for one of the ladies. Everybody should warn their daughters. And that the people are going to treat you as if you are an orphan or... I mean, I remember through the church, someone connected me to somebody. That is when I got my first job.
Okay.
And this man, we did a job for 1 month. It was a supermarket cleaning. So at the end of the month, I was happy to get my first salary. So it was the day, the end of the month, we called him. He said the next day we finally met him. And then he paid some people, not all, half. It got to my turn. I was smiles all over my face. And he said, yes, as for your own, you've done 1 month. Now that you are getting perfect to the job. So the first month you did was like apprenticeship.
Like you work for free.
It was like apprenticeship. So there was not going to be any money for me.
Oh, you don't say.
I said, but I bought bus ticket. I bought train ticket.
Okay.
So I quickly quit that job.
So it was an African who linked you to that
He
job?
was a Ghanaian, and even the owner of the job was a Ghanaian.
Wow, and he didn't pay you?
He didn't pay me. And so then the next chapter was another way where I don't want to mention for security or for other people's security, safety reasons, where you get another job where your money, you receive your money through your own Ghanaian and all those things. And the man also ran away with my money, never gave me with the money, and he was giving excuses. When the end of the month comes, I bring the pay slip, it's everything is there in his account, but he gives me stories. He gives me half of it, quarter of it, and then,
All right, guys. It is still Abote YouTube channel. Like I said, I'm here with an African guy who is coming from Ghana. His name is Isaac. He's been in the system for long. He seek asylum. Everything is good for him now. He's working, he's going and coming, he's living his good life, and he's narrating his story. Yeah, so like I said, if you like this interview that we're bringing with you here, subscribe to Lapote YouTube channel. And so far, the things that Isaac have said here, I don't know if you're following. When you come to the system and you have even a whole lot of money, you come with millions of dollars, you cannot rent an apartment. Nobody's giving his house to you to rent because you're not working, you don't have a pay slip. When you're living with an African person, or when an African person rents their apartment to you, there are so many restrictions. You cannot even bath. Some people in Ghana, I think, bath like 2 times a day. Sometimes you can't bath 7 days. All in the name of bills are going high. So, and a whole lot. And I guess we are saying all these things because I guess most of the times when people are coming to Germany or coming to abroad, they have a different picture in their head. So when they come here and finally they're here, they kind of get disappointed. And I know a whole lot of people sometimes pay a huge money, like 7,000 euros and stuff, money that they could use to start a business and get something like 1 week visa or 2 weeks visa. By the time your visa is done, you've not even figured the system out and you are stranded. Now you start contemplating as to whether to go back or get locked in the system. So I guess that's the reason why we are having this interview, so people will be educated on these things. So before you take that leap of faith and you decide to come and step in, at least you know what it is. So like I said, it's still Abote YouTube channel, and I'm still here with Isaac. So Isaac, now let's talk more about the asylum process right now. So when you got into the asylum, when asylum came to seek you, why didn't you try other means? Like people always go like when you are here, especially in Germany, when you get married to someone, that makes your burden a bit easier. Or when you have a baby with a lady, that makes things more easier. So why didn't you try any of those things before decide to follow the asylum process?
I think personally, I have my own philosophy or my own way of facing problems and facing life as a whole. So when I got into the country and after meeting the local custodians of the land, or we call them old boggers.
Old boggers.
The directions they gave me and the things they told me, it made me think twice. I mean, I didn't want to go and marry a white lady because of paper. I didn't want to give kid because I want to have papers to be here. So it was my focus, it was my plan, and it was my aim. And this is why, even though I had a girlfriend, at the early stages, I had a German girlfriend. My first German girlfriend, I had her when I got here some few days ago. Or I think weeks or a month after I got here. But interestingly, when the asylum thing came, before the asylum, we were going to lawyers to seek advice, and she went with me on 1 or 2 occasions, and I think the best advice the lawyer gave was to go to somewhere to marry at a price of about 5,000 euros or so. Wow. And well, she said okay. So at some time I wasn't getting response from her, and I asked her, and she said, look, you know, I'm not this fat girls in town who have no guys, and so they go the extreme to make guys happy. She's not going to even pay €1
to marry you.
Yeah, wow. But if maybe we should wait, maybe we will have kids, and then yeah. And so what you are saying, I did consider, even though it was not my main thing to do those things to be able to stay here. And so when we got into the asylum process, we were finally based somewhere closer to Dortmund. I live in the same village as at now.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, and then we heard what was there, a lot of panic, a lot of waiting to be carried away, and all the process. So after the whole thing, we got negative, and because we didn't have anything reasonable to tell them. I didn't. On my interview there, I didn't give any story. I just said I came here, I found a lady, she gave me hope, and then when my papers expired, she ran away. So
when you said negative, you mean when you go to seek asylum and you are given negative, it means your reasons for wanting to seek asylum is not valid or it's not acceptable. Is that what the negative means?
Yes, I think you can say that. But before this, I want your listeners or your viewers to know that I'm not an asylum expert. Neither am I an immigration expert or a lawyer or something, but it's a personal experience.
Yeah, that's where we...
And me in particular as a person, I'm really private. I don't like to share my information. But I look at Ghanaians, Nigerians, Africans, finding it, I just saw the life here for immigrants. It's like you have a computer and you don't know the password and you are just trying anything. So I think I could share, or my story could help people out there to get things right or do it the way I did it.
And that's why we're having this program.
Sure. And so, like you asked, yeah. So the negative means your asylum has been refused.
Refused, yeah. Not granted.
And in our case, or in my case and that of my friend, we were not qualified, because to qualify someone for an asylum here, there are some things that you have to be able to meet, some requirements. Well, we didn't meet those requirements because we came from a democratic land, country, Ghana. We have no war, we have democracy, and all those things. And so, and what I also realized, that whatever story you go to tell there, you have to have an evidence to support it. And this is what many people don't know. It's not going to say something, you have to support it. And the real asylum process is not done through you and the immigration officer. You have to go through a lawyer, mostly. Present your story and your argument on the evidence, and your lawyer will follow up for you. But some people who have very open situation, like let's say people from Ukraine currently, the whole world knows they have
crisis,
a war going on. So when you come, you don't really need a lawyer. You can just go straight. But when you come from places with peculiar situations like us, where our story, it's very new, or it's not, it doesn't fit the requirement. But in law, sometimes we say temper justice with mercy. So the lawyer will hear the story and see which part of the law you fit. Yeah, with evidence, of course. And so I didn't have evidence, I didn't have a story, I didn't have a lawyer, and I don't come from a country which is considered as one of the list of asylum countries who are being granted asylum in Europe. We are not part of it as Ghana. So that means 99% or 90% I was going to be refused. I knew that. They told me, and they refused me.
So you knew 90% you were going to refuse, and yes, you decided to take that step.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I took the step because, like I told you about the lady, she made my faith clear to me. She's not going to do anything. And I don't know why my friend decided to follow up with me or to also go, but we just went there to see what is there. And apart from just going there, we wanted to also change the environment to see what could come out also from that side of the country. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the fear most people have. I mean, going to do something, you know, there's 90% chance of you being refused or you not getting. That means your chance is only 10%. That is not a fair thing to for someone to stand by.
To risk it for, yeah.
Okay, so now, so what happened? Tell us.
Yeah, what happened was, well, we got the negative. Like I told you, we've been refused. And then you get something we call dudong, abshibong dudong, which means they are patiently waiting on your deportation, or I don't know the
like
correct.
Temporary stay?
No, not a temporary stay. Abshibong dudong means you are going to be deported, and they are waiting for whatever they are waiting for, because to deport somebody, you need also what we call TC, not necessarily their passport, because most people, when you go to apply for asylum knowing they will deport you, you don't give your passport to them. So they have to prove your identity, that the story you said you are from Ghana, America, or whatever is true. And proving those processes, it takes a while. Sometimes a year, sometimes months, sometimes. So in my case, it took 2 years for them to try to
verify your story.
Not to verify my identity first, and for Ghana Embassy or for our government representatives here to provide the document. And so during those waiting time, I also did something special. But anyway, I didn't have any specific aim, but I said, okay, if they will take me home, going home without money, I should go home with knowledge. Because I know there are school of languages there. I remember when I was little, my mother wanted to travel to Germany, and there was a guy who said he's learned some German, came to teach my mother. Whether it was correct or wrong, it's a story for another day. But so I decided to master the language, so that when I go home,
you have something.
I have something to do. But I wasn't afraid being taken home, because I knew I could also survive home. And so I bought the books. I think by then people from Ghana were not allowed to work with our asylum documents. So I bought German books with the money I was getting from government. And I was able to master up to B2. I registered the exams. I wrote them. I got B1, and then wrote B2, and then I got it, a certificate, without any school. I just bought the books and learned at home. And at the same time, very funny, there were other 2 Ghanaians, I think 3 or so. 1, they returned to Italy, and 2, they wanted to take them, all of us, home. The people who were there were consulting pastors in Ghana, were praying when I was sleeping, and they were saying a lot of stones, and so they were believing that the pastors somewhere will help them get the papers. I advised them, hey, you should learn German, at least. They said no. So, but then we were getting money from government every month, and we had a small room with a lot of people, but it was okay. But they were doing illegal jobs to add to what government was giving them. So once in a while, the police come in the night when they want to carry you away, when you are asleep between 1 and 3 o'clock. They surround the house, call your name, pick your bag, and then put you on the flight. So they took one, the other one was there, ran away, so it was me. So when the letters were coming, I decided to call the numbers on the letters, why they want to deport me, why they won't give me a chance. So when I call them, this person will say, ha, 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 the other person will say that. So one of the numbers called back and said, hey, you called for somebody, we want to speak to the person. And I said, no, it's my phone, I called for myself. He said, are you sure? I said, yes. He said, but you are not a German. I said, no, I am from Ghana. I am a refugee. I have a refugee status. He The lady said, wow, she's really marveled, because for her, she thought she was talking to a German. She can't believe such a person.
Because you speak the language.
Who has mastered the language, they want to send home for what? And so she advised me what to do, this. And then I did what she did. So what I did was that I applied for, because I wasn't allowed to work. So I applied for practicals. I started reading actually about what it takes for me to stay here. And this is what I would advise everybody, wherever you are in any part of the world. Read about the laws of the land and immigration laws, and jobs and schools. So I did it, and then I got a practical place, what would we call it? A place to do a practicals, trials. So they brought the letter, they wanted to take me when, and so yeah. Eventually, I was doing a practical at a mental home somewhere in my village, and the management there, I told them, hey, they want to carry me home, and so if you don't see me, if I don't come to work the next day, that means I'm gone. So yeah, it was really sad for most of them, not only my employers, but also the families of the patient I was taking care of, because I brought something new to them that they didn't have. And so what I brought new to them is the hospitality that we have in Ghana, the respect we have for people, and the love we have for sick people, and the patient as well. Yeah, and so I work endlessly and with all that I could give there. And so they fought, they call the foreign ministry, we call it Ausländerbehörde. Whoever who was responsible for me, they talked to them, they said, hey, this guy is doing magic here for us. We want him to stay. What does it take to? Then the direction also came. He has to do this, he has to do this. So they got me what we call Ausbildungsplatz. I think it's a professional studies in English. To learn a profession as a nurse, a 3 years profession. And so what played an important role was that now they want the requirement for the nurse, and you need to get, I think we call it class 11 in Ghana. Maybe it will be SS and your first year in Legon or university to be able to meet this requirement. Otherwise, you have to have a bachelor at least from Ghana, which will be transferred into their school system. That will give you what we call abitua here. I think abitua in Ghana will be like SSC, but here you won't get the same abitua. So I didn't have also this requirement. And the next thing is you have to have B2. But the same B2 that I did for fun, I didn't know it was going to be important someday. I just did it.
You mean the B2 as in learning a language from A to B2?
Yeah, so they asked me of SUS certificates. I didn't want to provide because I didn't want them to trace me that I'm from Ghana, to have any document to prove that I'm from Ghana. So I said, I have no school document. So they said, then you can't do the Ausbildung. I said, I can. Can't I register the exams and write here? And they said, how on earth can you pass an exams here in Germany? Class 10 or class 11, which is the class 10 or class 11. You can't pass, because even if I should pass subject like English, which it was common, it was easier for me because I come from Ghana. Yeah, but the other subjects like biology and even German as a subject, it's like Ghana, you have English as a subject, or Twi or Ga. Yeah, so, but I went to write the exams and pass. I said, give me the books. I had just 2 weeks to prepare. I wrote my class 10. Was it with quali? That means class 10 with quali means then it's Realschulabschluss. I don't know how to translate all this really in English, but then I got Realschulabschluss without school in Germany. It was a miracle, though. It was really wonderful. But I thought I was a person who said I can do everything. I'm not tall, I'm not the biggest, but I know I could do everything if I put it my effort through. So I got it started. The nursing, the 3 years, and then the Abschiebung they gave me when I started the Ausbildung, they changed it to give me another Aufenthaltstitel, stay, which was going to end exactly when I'll finish the Ausbildung. And the other requirement was that when I finished the Ausbildung and pass and then get a job. Then they will use the contract to apply for me. Also under, we call it Aufenthalt für Fachkräfte. That means for high qualified people, a stay permit for high qualified people.
Okay.
I think it's Aufenthaltsgesetz paragraph 18D, 18 something. Your viewers can check it. Aufenthaltsgesetze or Asylgesetze and all those things. Ausbildung, Aufenthalt. You can check it. So to cut a long story short, you can get asylum in Ghana, with Ghana, and it will work for you. But then you have to go through, the moment you get the address, the identity, you have to start a practical somewhere. You have to start learning a profession, an Ausbildungsblatt first. So when you get the Ausbildungsblatt, they will stand based on this Ausbildung. Ausbildungsaufenthalt. And then they will cancel your asylum. The reason why you are staying here is you want asylum. But when you decide that you are staying here because of Ausbildung, then they will remove your first reason you give as an asylum and then put the Ausbildung as your current reason of staying. Then you get your paper. So it was easy, but I didn't get direction and didn't prepare. So it was really tough for me. But like I said, it went through. They asked me of my Sprachkurs certificate. I went to bring it, sorry. They were amazed. He said, we didn't take you to language school. Where did you get these papers? I said, I registered them, I bought the books and learned. So this is your papers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we've heard much from Isaac. He's explained it all. In case you are already here in the system and you can find your left from your right and you feel like, oh, hope is lost, and maybe in his case, he's saying asylum came seeking for him, not the other way. You can go seeking for asylum, and probably if you follow the steps that he has given, everything is going to work out good for you. And if you're also at home and you're thinking of coming to Germany, at least if you should watch this whole video, you'll know what you have to do in case you come to the system and you are stranded. So probably you will not end up doing some things that you will not want to do. So I'm still with Isaac. This is Lapote YouTube channel. Like I said, if you like the show that we are bringing to you, subscribe, give us some like, and give some comment too. So Isaac, so let's just summarize the whole thing. So after that, just tell us what happened before you finally got to where you are now.
Well, like I said, I did the Ausbildung. I passed as Pflegefachkraft. I got my job, my contract. I got a stay renewal. I got my official apartment.
Okay.
And then I think I did my driving license when I was in the Ausbildung or learning the profession. Okay. And so I got my driving license. I got myself a small car. After school, I got a bigger car. Updated life, and yeah, now I'm doing my bachelor in Pflegemanagement and Pflegewissenschaftler. It's one is Fernstudium and one is Präsenzstudium. Yeah, and so after that, I don't know if I still have strength. I may do my master and then. Yeah.
All right, guys. All right, so you guys just heard it all from Isaac. What happened when he seek asylum? If it worked for him, I'm sure it can also work for you. In his case, he didn't have anybody to rely on to ask him to give him the answers to all these questions. He went through it himself and he was able to do everything. So if you are watching and you want to follow the same step, I think he has explained all about the best thing to do is also seek a lawyer's advice, and then I'm sure everything is going to work out. So once again, I want to say thanks for watching this program, and once again, like I said, if you like this program that we can bring to you, just give us some like, some comment, and subscribe, and that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Have a nice time. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.